Alright, hello, and welcome back again to the Gunfather. Today we're going to talk about this holster and what's inside of it. So this is a Beretta 1934. So, these are, at the moment, still available from basically everybody. Classic Firearms, AIM Surplus, any local gun store you have may have some of these gun shows, Atlantic Firearms, you know, all the people I talk about every episode that none of you care about. So, these are little 380 single stack 7-round pistols, made starting in 1934, you probably guessed that, and they continued production up until sometime in the 80s. From what I could tell, different places say different things, but they started off as Italy's new army pistol, spread through their armed forces. Their national police used them for quite a while, but eventually newer, more modern things came along and replaced it. So, when this was first developed, the Italians in the early 30s, they wanted to replace their current pistol, and which was another Beretta, and what they really liked was the Walther PP, which is very similar to the PPK, which is of course just a little bit smaller. And Beretta, not wanting to lose out to the foreign competition, said, oh, you know, we can build one of our own. And they did. It's not as complicated, but it's also cheaper, and probably every bit as durable and reliable. These are all steel handguns, except of course for the grips. The Beretta is actually just a tiny bit heavier. It's like 1/10 of a gram or something. My wife borrowed my scale, so I can't weigh it again for you. Maybe not quite as ergonomic, but they do both have the little pinky rest down there. Beretta's for, today's Beretta's day. Walther for another day. So, these are pretty darn simple, single action only. So that is something the PPK has over that. But it does have a very nice trigger, and as you can see, it's empty. So, there we go. There. So yeah, that was a clumsy little demonstration of mine of some of the weird ergonomics of this. It does lock open on the last round, but then there is no slide release per se. You have to drop the magazine, but if you don't put it back, okay. Getting a little ahead of myself here. So yeah, single action only, no magazine disconnect. These are really simple guns. And get over here, you can actually see some similarities to its grandson, the 92 FS. I really wish I got a Beretta 1951 when there were a ton of those floating around, but I didn't have the money at the time, and now I kick myself. But oh well, that's life. But yeah, you see the same little scalloped out front end and everything. You can tell they're related, even though you can tell this is much more refined and bigger and more powerful. But enough. Gotta talk about this guy, not every other gun I have. Yeah, it is very simple, where the safety selector here, back is safe, forward is fire, actually does function as a slide hold open. It goes right up into that little notch and allows you to drop the magazine. But then of course it's kind of a little thing to get it back in play. These are not gunfighting guns. This was a, I am armed, I'm being ambushed and I'm going to take somebody off of me, or I'm a cop who has to carry this thing around every day for a decade and will probably never have to use it, but in the off chance I want something that actually works. So they made these in 380 or 32 ACP with the 1935, identical guns other than the caliber. And honestly, they're pretty solid. I'm not used to European heel releases. So, field stripping it is a little weird. I'll say that. So we switch it over to safety, drop the mag, pull this back, you lock it back into place, into that little notch, and then this barrel comes free really easy, because on some of the new imports you've got right now, these are brand new barrels. You will have the option with most places, if they still have them, of the brand new barrels or the original barrels. In the original barrels you will see usually a tiny bit of threading still left on the front, because in order to get them imported, they had to weld a faux suppressor onto the front of them, and then from there ship it into the country, because now the barrel's long enough it didn't count as like a Saturday Night Special cheapo tiny handgun. And then they import them, they cut those things off. I just opted for one of the ones with the new barrel. And then, so yeah, you pop the barrel in and out just like that. It's weird how simple this is to me. So that pops out like that. You release that. And then everything just slides off here. Your slide itself, very simple. You got the Royal spring guide rod, which is not captive. And then you've got the very, very simple internals. And your safety here, selector, is also your tension pin for everything. So honestly, you gotta give them props for just how well they did at making everything on this work. And see if I can get this back together. I was doing this before off camera and I was messing it all up, which I am doing again, because I think I'm doing that backwards again, because I'm, yeah. There we go. There we go. So very simple. A lot of these were brought back as war trophies because Italian officers had them. They were either captured in depots, handed over, rounded up, whatever. So you can still find some of these that were actually issued during World War II, floating around for not a whole lot more money. Right now, these are going with the online retailers for $300-ish. But I got mine from Atlantic. Came with this very nice new made holster. This is not vintage. And then of course, I bought a second magazine because it has a spot for one. It's got very, very basic sights. Which, yeah. You can see it's just a very crude little notch, crude little front sight. But again, these aren't marksman pistols. You're not shooting these from 150 yards or something like that. You are shooting at somebody probably in the same room as you, or threatening, somebody not too far away. Yeah, they are fun little guns. Random little side note, I love the website IMFDB, Internet Movie Firearms Database. And I do like to look up what, characters have what guns in what movie. And one of the ones I like is Godzilla vs. Biollante, which came out in 1989. Probably none of you watching this have ever even heard of it, let alone seen it. But it's a fun Godzilla movie. He fights a giant plant that has a girl's soul stuck in it. Anyway, one of the assassins for the human element in it, he's carrying two of these, one silenced, one non. So there you go. You can see these in silly Japanese monster movie. Which, anybody else watching that probably couldn't tell you what he had, because you only see it blurry. I own this. I own the movie. So yeah. Also, I don't know if you can tell how much cat hair the grease on this is picking up, but it's a lot because my cats love to jump up here when I'm not looking. Yeah, it's, not too snappy. I mean, it's 380. You do have kind of a higher bore access, so leverage isn't your best friend with this, but I mean, it's 380. Once you know what you're getting, you're going to control it just fine. You could still carry these nowadays if you really wanted to. Just buy something inexpensive and durable. But yeah, it's got a pretty good trigger on it. Sights are pretty crude, but again, you're shooting at someone probably 10 feet from you, so you might not even traditionally aim. The safety is a little weird. You do usually have to break your grip to get on and off. But again, for the target audience of, military officers and police, not that big a deal. For other notable things, one of these was used to kill Gandhi. No one's quite sure how the assassin got a hold of it. But, yeah, that's what was used. I think that's really the only super high-profile thing about these. There are going to be some out there probably Nazi-marked, because the Nazis, they were nuts for pistols and anything they could get a hold of. So after Italy switched to the winning side during World War II, Nazis took over and had a bunch of these issued out. I'm not entirely sure about all the numbers or markings or anything like that, so if somebody's trying to sell you one that they swore was Hitler's personal pistol, they're probably lying, but you might want to check with an expert on that. Yeah, right on, 1934. I like it. It's fun. It's inexpensive. 380's nice. Yeah, nothing all that extra to say about it. Very simple gun. Not a huge colorful history, but it does what it does. Alright, I hope I rambled enough for you. Also, I really hope you like it this time, because this is the second time I filmed it. First time I forgot to turn on the microphone. It was just 15 minutes of silence and me moving a gun around.